On the streets of Tokyo, sex sells, and nothing sells better than the fantasy of innocent young girls. We found something far less innocent in a place that caters to young people, a comic book store.
That's blood right there.
We're shooting this story with hidden cameras to show you what's being sold here. Magazines and videos so graphic, so sexually explicit, we turned our undercover cameras off. But everything for sale here is legal because these graphic images are on comic strips. A lot of the things that we just saw in that store were really disturbing. These were cartoons, but really they were pornographic illustrations of young girls engaged oftentimes in violent sex with older men. A new bill in Japan outlaws the possession of child pornography, like most other industrialized countries. But graphic cartoons, even ones showing kids being raped, will stay legal. Why? Because anime animation and manga comics are a multi-billion-dollar industry with political and lobbying power. Are you concerned that this animated child porn could lead to criminal behavior?
その通りです。
Absolutely, says legislator Matsatara Tsuchiya. He points to the arrest of this murder suspect, accused of stabbing a 7-year-old girl more than 10 times. Police seized large amounts of child porn from his home, but won't say if it was real or animated. Tsuchiya wants to outlaw anything portraying sexual violence against kids. I believe this kind of terrible material is not protected under freedom of expression, he says. It should be banned. Why did you decide? One of Japan's most famous cartoonists disagrees.
3D のポリゴン
Ken Akamatsu lobbies lawmakers on behalf of the Japan Cartoonists Association. He says censoring content violates freedom of expression.
実在の児童の
Actual children suffering and crying is not acceptable, he says, but manga doesn't involve actual children, so there are no actual victims. He points out even some of his own art features teenage girls in sexual situations. But these are not children and they're not being raped. There's a big difference.
児童の性虐待
There is an argument that manga like that will induce child sexual abuse, he says, but there's no scientific evidence.
科学的に証明
If it's scientifically proven, he says, we're totally ready to cooperate.
The victims are getting younger and younger.
Shihoko Fujiwara runs Lighthouse, a nonprofit for exploited children.
As young as 1 or 2 years old, they are being victimized.
She says she worked on a case where a predator used a cartoon to convince a child sex abuse is normal.
So the pedophiles might bring the animation and, hey, this is how you practice with the adults.
Despite those concerns, cartoons featuring sexual violence against kids will still be for sale on the streets of Japan, even as some fear those cartoons may be fueling the darkest desires of criminals. Will Ripley, CNN, Tokyo.